Welcome back, everyone. My name is Carlos. Today we're going to be getting into our leg session for the week. And the idea or the notion, the concept, and the truth about progression. But before we do, please hit that subscribe button, post notifications, hit that like, share, do all that stuff. So, this week we've reduced from twice to once a week because I was not recovering. These workouts are intense. The leg workouts, they have several different compound exercises in them, substantial warm-up and an isolation, and every single move is taxing. Every single one is being taken to the limit, and I just found it impossible to properly progress twice a week. So, back to once a week, and it's doing wonders. Again, you recuperate in 8 days from any particular muscle group, and so the exciting thing is making these progresses, these gains. Now, this brings me to the concept of the logbook. Rarely do I see anybody at the gym walking around with a little notepad or speaking into their cell phone, writing everything down, taking note of what they're doing. And this is why I don't see very many people progressing either. When I talk to I'm not a professional, but I hang around with professional and competitors. Professional bodybuilders and competitors, and they are definitely keeping log and keeping track of what they're doing. Why? Because you have to train harder than last time. This notion that you can just increase your frequency doing the same thing over and over and over again and you're going to build this awesome physique of excellence is misguided. You have to train very hard. It's very hard to attain maximum muscle mass and maximum definition. All these things take an extreme amount of effort. And how do you gauge that effort? It's very subjective. If you just come in one day and you feel like doing this routine and your output, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how much you're doing. You can't quantify your output. If you had to put it in an algorithm and do it all mathematically, like how many volts or joules or units of energy did you expend on this particular muscle? Of course, most people are clueless on that, but you could get to those pieces of data by writing what you wrote, by what you did. Say, you did 3 sets of squats with 225, and they were 8 reps. Well, you quantify that, so many pounds, and how long did it take to do that? Okay, each set lasts for so many seconds, and then, and so these things can be quantified. Why is this necessary? Because the muscle will adapt to its demand. And if you are expending only a certain amount of energy and force, and this is consistent over time, that's what the muscle adapts to. It will not grow to humongous, ginormous dimensions under normal circumstances. It's not natural to do so. It is not efficient to do so. It is a waste of energy to do so. The only reason the body would ever produce that much muscle is because you're putting some extraordinary demands on it. Does that make sense? Okay, so how do you log these things? Before I used to write everything down. I'd go in and say, okay, triceps extensions, lying triceps extensions. Write down, bar plus 25 pounds on each side. Okay, get under the bar, did 11 reps. Put 5 more pounds on each side. Okay, boom, did 9 reps. I'd write everything down. I'd come home and log it into an Excel. My training sheet, a training block for such and such period of time. And I'd write, my muscle groups. Okay, so I got my arms. Okay, triceps, biceps, forearms. Have my chest. Bench press, incline bench, dumbbells, dips, whatever you're doing, cable crossovers. And I'd write everything down. I'd come in and log everything. So when I go to the gym next time and say, okay, it's chest day today. What did I do last time? Okay, I hit 14 reps with 200 pounds. And then I put on 2 plates and I only got 4 reps. And then, I check all this out and I say, well, what can I do to increase the general or the overall workload from the previous session? Okay, and so this is the idea, the concept of progression and keeping a logbook. Okay, so I've been going over how progression is not linear. It's impossible to completely be linear in your progression. But there is this one basic truth. You can always progress. How? Well, you can increase reps with a lower weight. there's always some parameter that you can increase in your training session. You can always go the extra mile. It's not so much a question of your strength, it's a question of your will. How willing are you to put in that effort? I mean, no matter how big your will is, if you're only doing 4 plates on a hack squat, you're not going to come in one day and do 6 or 7 plates. It's just you're physiologically not, you don't have the equipment to do that. You have to build up the body to get to those dimensions. Yet, if you cannot do 4 plates on that one day, you can certainly bring it down to 3. And if your previous PR was 12 reps, you can find the strength, you can find the willpower within you to go to 15 reps. And where there's 3 more reps, there's 3 more reps, there's 3 more reps. You understand what I'm saying? There's always a way to go the extra mile. Now, in today's workout, I have been keeping a somewhat linear progression with the weights. I have 3 basic exercises that I am trying to develop on. One is the hip hinge hack squat. In other words, it's the hack squat. It's not with the shoulder pad. You lift from the hip with handles on the hip, and it does provide extreme knee flexion. You go all the way down. The hips almost touch that floorboard, and your knees are completely flexed. And so it has a great range of motion, which I know some guys really get excited about range of motion. And this is one particular exercise where it's very beneficial. The other exercise or movement that I have chosen to do this linear progression on is the 100% vertical leg press, not the 45-degree angle leg press, the 100% vertical leg press. And the third is the Bulgarian split that you see people where they put the leg up on a bench and they squat down with one leg. I'm doing that on the Smith because it's easier to overload on the Smith and, grabbing, 150-pound dumbbells and trying to do, extreme weights. It's very uncomfortable, although that would be very beneficial. And it's even harder to put a barbell on your, just heave it up, put it over here, put your leg up here, and just do it on the Smith. The Smith the apparatus is made for that type of, it's very convenient for that movement. So I've been, those 3 movements. And the isolation that I've chosen, since I do have a quad dominant compound selection, I am using the leg biceps, the lying leg curl. There are many leg curls that you can do. You can do them standing up. There's different angles. You can do them seated. And this one, just the basic one lying down because it provides the greatest opportunity for force production. So let's just go over these really quickly. The hack squat, for me, massive ultimate weight is 6 plates, 7 plates. That's like, I don't know why I even said 7 plates. I don't know if I could ever do 7 plates. 6 plates. 6 plates is more than enough. This is a loyal weight. It's very heavy. I've gotten to 5. I'm up to 4 reps. Now, today, since I left the hack squat for the last exercise of the routine, I wasn't going to do the heaviest weight. I wanted to go into my rep max. So I brought it down to 3 plates. And this progression started with 12 reps. I actually started with 10 like a month ago. Then I worked it up to 12. Then last session I got up to 15. Like I stopped at 13, and those last 2 reps, oh my gosh, they were very difficult. Today, I was determined to get 20 reps. And so when I started the set, right off the bat, you feel tired. It's like when I got to 4 reps, 5 reps, I'm like, how am I ever going to get to 20? When I got to 10, it's like, oh man, it was just, it's hard to describe the feeling of kind of being overwhelmed. I guess it's like finding yourself on a ledge when you're you're climbing a cliff and you're on a ledge and you can't go forward, you can't go backward, and it's just like way down there, you're going to get killed. You have to, it's a do or die thing, right? And it's like very nerve-wracking. And since I was determined to not to fail, that's the sensation that I brought on myself. When I hit those 12 reps, and I remembered I got 15 last time, I blanked out and I just kept on going. I hit 15, I said, you got it, 5 more. But those 5, I knew I was going to get it, but they were torture in any case. It's like 16, 17, 18 when I hit those 20. Oh man, could I have gotten 25? Tom Platt says, there's always 5 more. If you're into that rep range, There's always 5 more, but man, I guess that it's for another day. 20 reps was my PR. So there's really nowhere left to go with the 3 plates. I could go to 25 and 30 reps, but that's further down the road. It's not warranted at this time for building the progression. What needs to happen is to increase with the 4 and 5 plates. So the next time, God willing, I'll start off with the hack and I'll go to the 5 plates, and instead of hitting 4 reps, if I hit 5, that's a PR. I'll try to do more. It's like the investment in the energy, the time, and the setup to get to that place is so costly in the sense of the motion, the preparation, the apprehension. When you're actually there, it's best to take full advantage of it. So if you got 1 more rep, 2 more reps, go for it. And that's my plan. And then the back offset with 4 plates, because 3 is should be over. It's should not be a default anymore. 4 plates, hit 6 reps. Now it's time to go for 8 and beyond. And that's the progression on that machine. It's very exciting. Some people might not understand how exciting it is, but it's very hard to build your legs. Like leg muscles, you can get them fit, you can get them muscular, but to actually get them large, like muscle large, not obese, like fat, like big muscles, it's very hard, bro. And they say after 40 it's hard. I'm 58, and I'm not taking no for an answer. I know I will build them out. And so it's just taking me a lot of work. I got to work really hard. The next exercise, the vertical leg press. Vertical leg press is a awesome machine. It's a loyal weight because the weight comes down 100% vertical. It's not being attenuated by any angle or gradient. It's coming straight down. So 4 plates is 4 plates. That's 405 pounds on your legs. Last PR was 7 reps with 4 plates. Felt heavy. Felt difficult. I put in a lot of effort after my 5th rep to get the 6th and 7th. Today, on the warm-up, just pumping it, bringing it all the way down, doing reps with my warm-ups with 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. When I got to 4, I knew I was going to breeze through those 7 reps. And I did. I got to 11, but I stopped. I could have gotten a few more reps, but I stopped as I felt tiny little twinge in my groin and my inner adductor. And this is one of the fears I have from that machine, because I did tear an adductor on the 45-degree leg press doing it with 7 plates 6-7 months ago. And it like a minor tear, but it turned black and blue, and I couldn't, train for, like a month. And so it's very scary, it's very painful. And that didn't happen. But it was like this close. And in hindsight, what was it? Well, I was burning through those reps real fast. I was going, wow, 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 just going up, down, up, down, up, down, and maybe hitting the final reps. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to work through it because next session is definitely 12 to 15 reps with those 4 plates. I don't want to go straight to 5 yet. I'm very nervous about that because, again, the adductor, the risk of injury, all these things. And it's on this particular machine, it's hard to bail. Like if you're going down and you're injured, you can try to maneuver the pins, but if you're severely compromised, you're going to be stuck under that weight, and that's really scary. Whereas on the 45-degree, it'll just come down and you can slide out. It's not going to crush you against the pad. This thing will literally come all the way down. So, man, and spotters. What are spotters going to do with 5 plates? It's like, when you're trying to wiggle out. Scary shit. Now, then we moved on to the next to the last exercise, which was the Bulgarian split. Now, this thing, when I started this Bulgarian split 8 weeks ago, it was, first of all, uncomfortable. It was a new move to, leg up on a bench and, squat down with one leg. It's like sometimes hard to put my pants on in the morning without, getting unbalanced. I can do that now. But, transfer that to a weightlifting exercise on one leg. So I started out with minimal weights, like on the Smith, just the empty bar, a 5-pound, a 10-pound, and a 20-pound on each side, which is very, very minimal weight. So I got good at it. I got into the zone, not hurting my knees. It's like flexing the hip, hitting the leg just at the right angle to get all the meat. So I started building it up, building it up, building it up. One day I got up to a plate, like, one of those 45 plates on each side, and I said, okay, I think I got 6 or 7 reps on that occasion, and I was determined to just continue, for the next session. So I started building the progression on that. Built it up to, long story short, 10 pound, 20 pound. Last session was with 200 pounds for 5 reps. And I said, this time I'm going to go for 2 plates. And so this was really exciting for me. 2 plates on a one-legged squat. And I didn't tap out on my maximum potential. I did have to grunt and scream to get them. Now, people would say, that's annoying. Why do you, you scream. Dude, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing what it takes. It's like, if I got to scream to get that rep up, I'm screaming. I had one day, guy came down and said he was a doctor. I heard somebody screaming here. I mean, he was being like facetious and sarcastic and patronizing because he didn't like anybody screaming. So he came down and says, oh, I thought you were injured. He said, no, jackass. I was screaming because I was on my heavy set. Got it? Okay, thank you. Move on. Nothing to see here. But I don't care if somebody's annoyed at the gym because you're making... It's not like, I'm doing like 20-pound curls. Lunk alarm on Planet Fitness. No. These are maximum efforts left for the last set. It's not like every single set you're screaming, but sometimes it's necessary. There's a school of thought, you shouldn't scream, contain it and whatnot, and I don't know. I just let it out. I do try to contain it sometimes because it is annoying. But, the only concern when I'm doing a lift like that is to get the lift done, okay? So that's basically it. Got the 5 reps with my right foot, and then on the left foot I just got 4 reps. Because, again, that twinge in the adductor, and I said, damn. It's like it wasn't letting me properly perform, So then from there we went to the final exercise, which was the lying leg curl. It's just an accessory exercise. But man, oh man, if you work that shit properly, if you work this exercise correctly, at least for me, it gives not only a pump, but a burn where it's like, it took me 5 minutes to recuperate from my 3rd set. I did a 21 rep set with a high, this one's really going up. I started out with like 40 pounds a few weeks ago, like 5 weeks ago. Now I'm starting out with 100 pounds for 21 reps. 122 pounds for 20 reps. Then I go up to 145 pounds, did like 12, 10, I don't remember. But on that 3rd set, the legs were just, it was like it wasn't deloading in the rest period between the sets. It was like 4 minutes and my legs are still burning. It's like, oh my God, it's like I'm done, I'm fried. And so I decided to go to the heaviest possible. I went to 75 kilos, which is 165 pounds. And, I managed 6 reps. But still, it was a PR for I'd never gone with that weight for the leg curl. This is another exercise where, I have to be careful because I tore a hamstring by yanking that thing on a standing leg curl one day. I did 80 pounds on one side, and I'm on my last rep, I just heave it up, and it was like a bullet went through my leg. It was like, cramped up so bad. It was like, I've never had a bullet go through my leg, but I felt like if that must be what it feels like because it was really in pain. Got black and blue. It was, torn. It was harmed for, several months. I wouldn't go near that machine, and it affected all my leg lifts for sure. So I really don't want to get injured. Very careful with that. Hitting those outer limits is very, it's a touchy thing. It's dangerous. And you just got to be careful. Just have to be I'm extremely careful. I could have continued with the adductor being slightly in pain, and I would have, maybe if I put on 5 plates and go for a max, I would have hurt myself. Anyways, that was it for today. That was the session. Incredible. It was great. Making progressions on 3 different exercises. And I know I have complete, if I'm recuperated and if I'm well, I'll hit more PRs next week. It creates a high, and then it creates a bit of a low. It's like, oh man! Every time I hit a PR, it's like it's such an exhilarating feeling to me. Because at 58, to be stronger than at any time previous in my life is not what we were told when we were younger. At 50, you lose your testosterone. You start going back. You start to deteriorate. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. It's a lie. It's not true. It's just not true. I mean, if I would sit on my couch, eating chips and drinking beer and smoking weed and partying going on and just not working out and not going the extra mile, not staying on the diet, I'm sure all those things would be true. Absolutely. Health markers going wonky, lipids going high, you're on medications and all this shit. This is par for the course of a soft, easy, comfortable life. Nice and soft. Little drink in the hand, a lot of photos with you at the parties, going out, you're in the sauna, in the jacuzzi, so much fun with all your friends. This is great stuff, but soft, soft, soft. Just getting progressively softer. There's no way you can make these, these changes later in life on a dime. And this has taken me years. This is the culmination right now of a 3-year tear. Before that, it was 5 years. I took 2 years off. I took a 2-year break. And that was the last time I ever drank alcohol or did any of those, like smoke and all that shit. That was gone. Because I figured, why did I stop? This is insane. I mean, you will get old, you will deteriorate, and you will, hurt yourself and be unhappy later in life if you don't take care of your shit right now. And so I determined to myself, I was determined, I can do this. I can soldier up. I can do whatever it takes. And I think anybody can if they put their mind to it. If they think it's important enough, they can do it. I'm sure they can. Why can't they? Shit, I mean, I'm not, nothing special. I'm just Joe Nobody, really. But the one thing I do have, I have God Almighty in my heart, and He does not let me alone to just wither away and fall by the wayside, and I'm paying attention too. I'm paying attention. He says jump, and I say how high. That's how it has to be. So taking care of ourselves, going full on steam, just steaming ahead on the, on the GAINZ train, having fun at it. Anyways, God bless everybody. See you next time.